Okay, so it took longer than expected for the parts to come, but I did get a new handlebar, throttle cable, universal kit, and a throttle itself. I am switching from the 23 millimeter, I think, to a 22 millimeter bar. It works fine with the stock clamps up there. This is a more universal size, so I can get grips and stuff and more universal accessories for it to fit. So let me start putting this together and get this on, and we'll see how she runs with a little bit of throttle. Oh, another thing you may have noticed is I took off the factory exhaust because the underside was completely rotted out and rusted, and I was planning on switching them anyway. I didn't know if I was going to go for an aftermarket pipe or a set of new old stock originals. But for now, it's just going to be an open header. It's quite loud. I did try it without it, so I'm definitely going to need a muffler of some kind. Also, you may have noticed while I was waiting for parts to come, I did take the paint off the original shocks, but they are pretty much gone. There's hardly any fluid in there. So I am probably going to replace those, but to just get it up and running, I'm going to put this one back together later on just to get it on the road for a road test, but they definitely will need to be replaced. This is the throttle. Just went with an aluminum generic throttle. It's kind of slim, I like it. See how it looks. And then the universal throttle kit. Sticker. Okay. So I will read those instructions, but just want to see what cables I have. This one looks like the one that goes up to the handlebars, and then we have two that go down to the carbs. So, and then the most important part is we have a splitter in here somewhere that splits the two cables out. So let me splitter, there we go. Something like that. Okay, let me read up on this and see what there is to do. Okay, so I do have this part of the factory cables that I need to use because this will actually go to the carburetor. The cables aren't terrible, but they're not great. You know, I have it, might as well just replace it. So I'm gonna take these off for adjustment for the for the carburetor. There they go flying. Okay, so I need those. Don't need these anymore. So essentially this will be the carburetor side, and each one of these will have to go on like that. Three wires, three ends, all the same length. So that's good to know. Okay, let me read up and figure out how to build these. Save y'all some time. So here is what I've been able to come up with so far. I'm using the individual throttle cables to go from here, from the carbs to around behind the refractor, the voltage regulator. Both sides are doing that. It's a nice open spot for the switch, for the three-way, the 2-to-1 adapter to go, and it'll be out of the way from any heat or anything like that. So I was able to get the throttles made. We have them going to each individual carburetor. The splitter is right here for now. This cable going to the throttle itself is a little bit long, but I'm going to leave that until everything's done, just to see if I can cut it shorter or if I need the extra distance, because I can't add more cable and I don't want to remake this. So everything's connected, and I'm going to start it and see how it works and how well the throttle works. Again, remember there is no muffler on right now. So the idle needs a little bit of adjustment, but they seem to work well. I do need to synchronize them later, but for now, it's a good starting point. Okay, that's good for now. They need adjustments, but also I have to put the tubes on for the air filters, so it's probably running a little rich right now because there's so much air, or a little lean because there's so much air getting into it, and it's not jetted correctly. This will work for now. The throttle will work for now. Until I'm able to give it a test ride, I'm just going to leave everything the way it is. The last thing I'm going to do today is put on a new ignition switch. It's just an on-off one. I don't need a parking light like the original one came with. I have a parking light on this one, and I just never use it. I'm not in the city. It's kept in a garage. So I'm just going to wire this up real quick, because for now I've just been essentially connecting wires with spades right now. So I kind of forget to turn it off sometimes, and it is connected to a trickle charger, but it would be nice, and I do need to have a ignition again. So let me do that. So for now, the wiring's just it's gonna be simple until I can figure out how I want to do it. I don't want to cut any of the factory wires yet, so I just made a bunch of connections and splices just to get the bike up and running for now. So if you see now, the ignition works. Let me make sure the bike turns off. Turns off when the ignition turns off. And we're good. Just wanted to show you that the oil pressure light actually does work, or the generator light actually does work. So that's it for today. The next step is to get the wheels and tires back on. I have new tires in the mail, and I have new tubes as well. So once those are on, it'll be rolling again, and then I will be able to do a test run around the block, just to make sure it goes through all the gears, make sure the clutch is good, that kind of stuff, before I figure out what the next steps are with it. So until next time, see y'all.